What a huge game versus the Cowboys this weekend. And if the Eagles win, they could take a real stranglehold on this division. But in order to get there, we have to go through this week of suffering where we've got to hear the Cowboy fans talk about Dak's record. Dak is 8-3 versus the Eagles. He's 8-3 versus the Eagles. 8-3 versus the Eagles. I don't think that 8-3 record versus the Eagles means what they think it means. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Dingbat here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So we've got a huge game versus the Dallas Cowboys this week. And if the Eagles can beat them, they really could put a stranglehold on this division. This game, in a lot of ways, is a must-win game for the Dallas Cowboys. And we're going to get into it and so much more in a second. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled, pause, Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you so much for all the support you give to me. And just special thanks to all those that were in my stream yesterday during the trade deadline. We had up to 3,000 people at one point in there, and I just appreciate you guys so very much. You know, this is always a big week when it's Eagles-Cowboys, right? And this is a game that I just cannot wait to get on with, because I think the Eagles are in a great position. If they can win this game, if they can beat the Dallas Cowboys, you're talking about a team 8-1 at the bye week, and the Cowboys would fall to 5-3. That would put them legit 2.5 games behind the Eagles, and the Eagles would have the tiebreaker on them because they beat them. Even though they're going to play them one more time, it's a great position for the Eagles to be in. So much so that I think the Cowboys are really in a situation where they've got to come in and win this game. And if they do win this game, then it's going to be a dogfight the rest of the year, because it's going to be two teams very close to each other in terms of wins. So it's a big game. It's a big game. And the injury report is going to be key this week. We got to hopefully get some guys back. And we do have good news. Jalen Carter was back at practice, even though I think it was a walkthrough today. He was full practice if there would have been, a regular practice. Here's what the injury report looks like right now for the Eagles. So you have tight end Grant Calcaterra, concussion. He's not practicing. Bradley Roby, shoulder. He's not practicing. Boston Scott, personal reasons, did not practice. That doesn't sound like something that will limit him from playing. Defensive tackle Jordan Davis, hamstring. He was limited at practice. And then they opened up the 21-day window for Cam Jurgens. This is really good news. I think getting Cam Jurgens back at right guard, because he was playing really, really well, will be big for us. It will be big. So I really am happy with Cam Jurgens. They also signed Julio Jones to the active roster. He's not coming, back and forth between the practice squad and then playing. He's on the team, and I like it. I really liked what Julio Jones gave us last week. Guard Sua Opeta, hip, limited practice. Jack Stahl, ankle, limited practice. Milton Williams, shoulder, limited practice. And then I said Jalen Carter, full practice walkthrough. So that's really, really good news with Jalen Carter, and I got to say this. When I look at the Dallas Cowboys and I look at the Eagles, and we'll get into the game plans and what the Eagles got to do, I really am going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the Cowboys, who's got a pretty stingy secondary, how are they going to stop A.J. Brown? Because I think A.J. Brown is on a tear right now that is it's unheard of. You don't see this very often from not any receiver in the league. Here's A.J. Brown's last 6 games. 9 catches, 131 yards. 9 catches, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. 6 catches, 127 yards. 7 catches, 131 yards. 10 catches, 137 yards and a touchdown. 8 catches, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. First player in NFL history with 125 plus receiving yards in 6 games, right? That broke Megatron's record. Well, guess what? Megatron's record may be broken again. He holds Megatron. He holds the single-season receiving yards record. So he has 1,964 yards in a season. Right now, A.J. Brown is on pace to break that record. Tyreek Hill is on pace to break that record. Both those guys are on pace to break, Calvin Johnson's all-time receiving record, which people thought that would take a long, long time to break. And I think these guys got a great chance to do it. Right now, A.J. Brown is on pace for 1,996 yards, I believe. So he's almost on pace for 2,000 yards receiving. Tyreek Hill's on pace for 2,000 yards receiving. And you got to remember, there's an extra game now in the league. So that extra game, these guys have a legitimate chance to break it. A.J. Brown may come out this year setting all-time records at a receiver. I mean, he's just having an unbelievable year, and we'll see how the Cowboys are going to go about stopping him and how much commitment they are going to spend. Because when teams start to really overcommit to stopping A.J. Brown, that's really going to open up things for Goddard. That's going to open up things for Devontae Smith. And I think that there's a lot of plays for the Eagles to be made. Definitely, no doubt about it. But this game is important. It's a very important game for the Eagles, for the Cowboys, specifically Cowboys. I think it's all time. It's an all-timer for the Cowboys. And the trade deadline came. It went. The Eagles, they got Kevin Byard at the trade deadline. Now, they didn't do it on the day of the deadline, but they made their trade ahead of time. And to me, that was the most significant trade that was made, because you're bringing in a guy who is going to start. And by December and, late December, when they get into the playoffs, Kevin Byard is going to be very impactful. Got to be patient with him right now as he adjusts, but he is going to be very impactful. And the Dallas Cowboys, oh boy, they didn't do anything yesterday. And I was watching. I had the Cowboy meltdown came up during my live stream, and so we're doing a live stream, and Mark goes on a tirade about the Cowboys not doing anything, nothing. And I tell people, just wait. 24 hours, he'll fall in line. Because that's what these Cowboy fans do. Mark makes videos of me talking about Kenneth Gainwell and stuff. He's actually accusing me of being the guy that was texting against Kenneth Gainwell. I have nothing to do with it. I don't DM or message players. I don't do that. That's not how I work. But he's spreading lies out there, and he's complaining. And all I got to say is this. At least us Eagle fans, at least we tell you what we think. We say what we think, and even if it's against one of our players, if we don't like a player, we say we don't like a player. If we think the team is messing up, we think they're messing up. If we think they miss a draft choice, we're not afraid to say they miss a draft choice. That doesn't mean we don't love them. That doesn't mean we don't support them. But the Dallas Cowboys, they're completely different, right? They all were pissed off Mozzie Smith got drafted. They were all pissed off. What did they do? Oh, yeah, I remember. They all cry and talk about how horrible it is. The next day, Mozzie Smith is going to be better than Jordan Davis. Mozzie Smith is going to be better than Jalen Carter. Everybody always falls in line with them. They all get in line of that old hag of a man, Jerry Jones, 6,992 years old. Happy birthday. It's actually his birthday today. Did you know that? 6,993 years old. It's got to be tough being 6,994 years old and having to pee every 20 minutes in the middle of the night. But here's the thing. They always fall in line. These Cowboy fans, they fall in line. Marks always does this. Somebody should do this. Maybe I'll do it if I have time. Go back and watch every significant loss the last, 3-4 years with Dak Prescott, right? You watch every significant loss. The 49ers, 2 playoff losses. You watch every loss they have. Mark Holmes will always make an excuse for Dak Prescott. Oh, well, we lost the game, and hey, friends, Mark Holmes with your buddy, Cowboy Joe Boo. I want to thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Network. And he'll go out there, and he'll complain, oh, we lost in this, but really can't put it on Dak. Or maybe if they would have done this, then Dak would have had it. Or maybe if they would have done this, Dak would have done it. It's always an excuse for Dak. And he does the same thing with the front office and stuff. Every time they don't do something and you let your true feelings out, the next day they fall back in place. What does Mark Holmes do today? He puts out a video talking, after his meltdowns, talking about why the Dallas Cowboys didn't make any moves. I'll try to put it at the end of the video, my post-credit scene. But it's like, dude, these guys are frauds. They're frauds. You're scared to say what you think. I am at least not scared to say what I think. I may be right, I may be wrong, but at least I tell people what I think, and I don't have to change it up. Do I think Kenneth Gainwell stinks? Yes. And I tell people that. Did I tell people Nelson Aguilar stinks? Yes. Did I hate the Derek Barnett draft? Yes. Did I say a lot of things that I were wrong about? Of course. Everybody lets me know that every 2 seconds. But at least I stand on my own stuff. At least I don't have to delete videos and put up stuff and hide things that I said so people don't see it. I am what I am. And that's it. And if people don't like what I have to say, then they don't have to watch. If they like what I say, fine. If they want to make fun of me, fine. I don't care. But at least you know where I stand. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. These Cowboys, especially some of these, like Mark Holmes, they all they do is fall in line and be a mouthpiece of the team. You have some balls. Don't be afraid to say Dak Prescott stunk today. He stinks. The ownership, front office, they didn't do anything for us. They stink. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. But, hey, they're afraid. What do I know? What do they want to tell you about? Oh, 8-3, 8-3. Yeah, I guess this is a rant because this has been building up the last 24 hours. Oh, I hear 8-3. Dak Prescott's 8-3 versus the Eagles. He's 8-3. He's 11-2 versus the Giants or 9-something versus. I don't even know what his record is, but it's a really good record versus the NFC East. And they keep bringing it up. What does that have to do with this Sunday? When he takes the field, do you think that Jalen Carter is going to go out there going, Dak Prescott, 8-3 record versus us. We can't play good. Hassan Reddick isn't going to want to take his legs off? You don't think Jalen Hurts is going to want to throw and just, big touchdown passes to A.J. Brown because the Cowboys have an 8-3 record? Oh, my God, we have to respect that 8-3 record so much. Oh, my God, how dare us even think of playing the Dallas Cowboys? That division record, that 8-3 record is all they have because they have nothing else. They can't win playoff games. They can't go to the Super Bowl. They can't even make trades at the trade deadline. All they can do is talk about an 8-3 record. And let me tell you something about that 8-3 record. That 8-3 record sounds great, but it's really a bad thing for Cowboys. It's really a bad thing because the truth of the matter is, what it says is that you've assembled a team that cannot win big games. How come he has this great record versus the NFC East, and yet he has no repeat division champions? How come Dallas hasn't been able to repeat as division champions? There hasn't been one since 2004. How come? So what it tells me, when I hear about 8-3, and I hear the great record in NFC East, what it tells me is the Cowboys blew their window. They blew their shot. That shot in that period of time where they were getting big wins against the division, they were not able to take advantage of that opportunity. Hell, they couldn't even become repeat champions. That's why you get a guy like future Eagle Michael Parsons who wants to be an Eagle. That's why he's already talking the Eagles up. Future Eagle Michael Parsons has one foot out the door. All right? That's why I say he is what he is. And the thing is, they can keep talking about these great records and stuff, but I don't hear any of them going, well, damn, what did we do with our great record against the division? What did we do? Nothing. We squandered it. Now, the Eagles are a lot better than they were in 2018, 2019, 2020. This team's a powerhouse. The Eagles are a legit powerhouse. Now, well, the Giants look like maybe they were getting better, but they're not. Washington, they're probably rebuilding again. But Dallas isn't going to keep having it that easy. You kind of blew your window. And now the Eagles are running this division. And your 8-3 record means nothing. It just means that you had guys that could win against teams that were either rebuilding, not as good, and you couldn't do nothing with it. They choked. So once again, it comes back to Cowboys choked. They choked a great division record over the last, 6-7 years, and they did nothing with it. Now you have to move over because the Eagles are here. And that 8-3 record will have nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with anything that happens on the field this Sunday. The Eagles are going out, and the Eagles, if they win this game, they go full 2.5 games up on Dallas. They have a bye week, and that puts a lot of pressure on Dallas. This is a must-win for Dallas. You can't fall that far behind. Dallas needs to make this game, make this division a one game back division. They need to make it like that really, really quick because otherwise the Eagles are going to run away with this thing, and we're going to be talking about mid-December clinching this division and locking up home field. Just what I want. So, yeah, the pressure, it's all in Dallas this week. Big game for the Eagles? Yeah, of course. But I think this is must win for Dallas. And must win, they won't do. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it.
Actually, no, hold on. Just hold on for a second here. My quarterback, Dak Prescott, gets blamed for everything. We look at guys.
It's his fault. You're right.
See, this is the problem is the Joneses won't do anything to try and help the team, right? You saw with Matthew Stafford, they said, let's go out. We got great wide receivers like Cooper Kupp and Jefferson and all this stuff. Let's go out and get an Odell to make sure that he's got enough, right? You look at, Buffalo going out and getting a Stephon Diggs and things and adding Von Miller to their team, right? The Cowboys do nothing. And what happens? Everybody says, well, Dak sucks. Dak's not the one. Dak's not good enough to win. He can't overcome. He can't overcome because he's not getting. Look what they did for Jalen Hurts. They said, we don't know if this guy is the guy who could lead us. Let's draft a wide receiver in the first round. They got Devontae Smith. Let's go out here, get him a bunch of running backs. Let's get him a great offensive line. Oh, and let's get A.J. Brown, who's looking like the second best wide receiver in football. Let's put all these things in here, okay? And then they're not done. And then they say, okay, Miles Sanders was pretty good, but let's get, Swift in here, right? They're constantly trying to do everything they can to support their quarterback, to help him achieve. I honestly can't see what the Cowboys do to support the quarterback. When they fail him, he's the one that takes the blame, not them. That's the craziest shit out here. Everybody, whenever we lose, it's always Dak. But it's Jerry and Steven that aren't putting in the work to get this shit done. Yesterday with the trade deadline, we all are looking and saying, let's get some shiny new pieces here for the Cowboys. Let's go ahead and bring in some more talent because we're a little thin in some places. And that's what we want to do. And this is more of the fantasy football ilk. See, it used to be trade deadline day would come and go, and there might be one trade, two trades, or nobody even think about the trade deadline. But because of fantasy football, where week to week you pull a guy in, you get rid of him, you trade him for somebody else, and you plug him in. The reality in football is this. So when you bring in new players, the problem is getting them up to speed to what you're doing. And if it's a position like, say, an offensive lineman, if it's a position like wide receiver or quarterback, it takes time to get the playbook and understand it. And so you may be able to get people that have more talent, but you don't have the time to get them up to speed. In the case of, say, a Von Miller, of course, it's like, go get the quarterback. So it's a little easier than it is for the wide receiver to just walk in and know your system. And so from the standpoint of that with the Cowboys, I think that's part of the equation. They look at it and say, we like our guys that have been here that understand the playbook. The other part of this equation, boy, my mouth is dry. The other part of this equation is the team chemistry. Oh, God, no. I want to be like the Eagles.